Welcome to the podcast series, Small Business Survival Conversations. Through our weekly conversations, we hope to provide you with strategies and insights, knowledge and expertise to enlighten you as you work to build and grow your business.
Good morning, small business warriors. Welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Motivation. I'm your host, Anna Steinfest, and today we're talking about something that can make or break your business conversations, especially if you're in the world of sales or client relationships, which all business owners should be. Am I right? So let me open with the truth. If you don't set the rules in a sales conversation, someone else will. And more often than not, that someone will be your customer who may not even realize they're doing it. Does that sound familiar? If you've ever left a sales call feeling like you gave away all your knowledge, all your energy, and walked away with vague, "We'll get back to you," this episode is for you. So we should start with the statement that sales is a game. And now let's figure it out. Who is controlling the rules here? The book I read last week reminded me of something I had to learn the hard way earlier in my career. And the book, it said, most sales interactions begin without a conscious effort by either party to establish the rules for how to proceed, which means that the buyer's rules, feign interest, steal information, stall for time, then ignore the salesperson or the business owner, if that's you, are automatically in play. Ouch! But let's be honest, it's so accurate, right? Unless we intentionally create a framework for conversation, the buyer falls back on their default defense system. That system often includes asking you tons of questions, avoiding sharing their real needs, and worst of all, never actually deciding anything. That's how you get ghosted. That's how you burn out. That's how your confidence starts to erode. But here's the shift I want to propose. You can take back control without being pushy, like a salesman, a car salesman, we should say. In fact, the best way to lead is to make the customer feel like they're in control, even though you're guiding the entire process. So I want you to set the tone early before you're playing catch up. There is one part that really stood out to me in that book, and it said, your ability to perform depends on asking important questions, and requesting permission to do so helps maintain the buyer's feeling of control. Think about that. You start the conversation like that. Would it be okay if I ask you a few questions to better understand what you're looking for? Simple, not threatening, and very, very powerful. Because now you are in the driver's seat, not because you're dominating the conversation, but because you've already established the rules and your customers does not realize that. So, however, let's talk about the buyer's condition to resist. So let's get real here. Buyers are often on autopilot. They've dealt with pushy salespeople before. They're trained to keep their guard up. I mean, think about yourself. You have been pushing all these salespeople from you. So think about or go into their shoes, understanding them. So that's why they might respond to you. Let me think about it. I need to talk to my team. That is at the end of the conversation and before you're trying to get this, before you're trying to get the deal. Can you send me something in writing? So these are what I called TOs, or let's break it down. Think it over responses. So TOs is think it over responses. Here, what the book says in these situations, the vast majority of these TOs really mean no. Yet salespeople accept them because they don't want to hear the word no. You know, when I read that, that hit me hard. And it's something I see all the time with small business owners, especially those who are also the salesperson, marketers, and CEO rolled into one, which all of us are. We avoid the no because we want to stay hopeful. But the truth is, let me think about it, just delay the decision and drain your energy. So there's 3 simple rules for leading the conversation I want to share with you. If you're wondering how to take control without being controlling, I will give you the formula. So let's go. Number 1, get permission to ask questions. I want you to start by asking, would it be okay if I ask you a few questions to understand what's most important to you? Number 2, give the buyer permission to ask you questions too. It shows you are collaborative, not just pushing a pitch. And feel free to ask me anything along the way you can add. Number 3, set an expectations that there will be a decision right there during your meeting with them, whether it's a yes or whether it's a no. It will be right there during the meeting. And you can do something like at the end of our call, I'd love for us to decide whether this makes sense to move forward or not. That way we both know where things stand. Sounds good? That's it. There is no pressure, no awkward closing, just clarity, confidence, and direction. And just a final thought about, they call this one the leadership, control, sales. Here's the quote I really love to leave you from that particular book. It is important that you do this in a way that allows the customer to feel that they're in control, even though you are the one controlling the sales call from the beginning to end. I want this to sink in. You are not here to sell in the old school way. You are here to lead. And leadership in sales starts with clear, respectful boundaries and commitment to helping the other person make a decision. So the challenge this week, I challenge you to apply these 3 rules in your next discovery call, client pitch, or consultation. Number 1, I want you to ask for permission to ask questions. Number 2, give the customer room to ask you questions. And number 3, set the expectation that a decision will be made. I want you to practice this 3-part framework and watch how the energy shifts. You'll waste less time, have clearer conversations, and gain more confident yes or no answers. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, You're not just a small business owner. You're a guide, a leader, a problem solver. You don't have to play by the old rules. You get to set new rules, rules that serve your business, your time, and your value. I'll see you next week for another episode of Monday Morning Motivation. Until then, ask bold questions, lead the conversation, and keep building with heart.
You've been listening to the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode. In the meantime, hook up with us on our Facebook group at Small Business Survival Tools and Tips. Till next time, thank you for listening.